Okay, he's on Madden 24's cover, right? But let's go to, where's it above? There he is. There's Ian Report again. But he says, like, so of course he's talking about, like, how Stefon Diggs is unhappy in Buffalo. And look where he, see, do you see that? Do you guys see that? Look at that. But, so they want the opinion of Stefon Diggs, okay? Here's the thing with Stefon Diggs. He's getting kind of old as a wide receiver. He's a little old, okay, guys. So he's just a little bit old, um, and it's perfect time to trade him, okay. But never forget the fact that how many times I've talked about Buffalo to NFL fans. Oh my gosh, I've talked about Buffalo Bills a ton, a ton. They have him on. They have Josh Allen on the front cover of Madden 24. They this dude this is crazy. Stefon Diggs also it's crazy because you could have somebody like Calvin Johnson, you could have somebody like Ross, you could have somebody like Wes Welker, okay? But when they get in a certain age of years, there's a time you just need to trade them and let them go. That's why Golden Tate was even, not there's receivers, another there's many key examples. There's like the Saints giving up on receivers. There's oh boy. It's pretty complex. The Dallas Cowboys getting in the wrong receiver group because they went and got the guy that gosh, I always forget his dang name because his name's so odd, but he used to be like a he used to be like an Oakland Raider or something. Let's see here. Thinking juices, right? Oh yeah, don't even forget about Nelson Aguilar. Now Nelson Aguilar for the Patriots. Okay. This looks like a clickbait video right here. Do you guys see this? This looks like a clickbait video. It says, it's kind of funny. Okay, so there's just many examples where these receivers just get old. Kenny Galladay, that's the crazy part. Kenny Galladay was like only like and sometimes they'll be young. They'll be these young receivers, but they'll only be like a 1 year show. They'll only be like, oh, we're only going to keep them for so long. That's why the DeAndre Hopkins thing is so odd, because DeAndre Hopkins really could have just had one good year. And where's the there's just a ton of receivers, and I even think, okay, Deshaun Jackson, right? Some other receivers. There's a ton of them, guys. There's a lot of these receivers. I'm just gonna type in. I'm gonna type it in because it's always silly. NFL greatest wide receivers. The only receiver I've ever seen in my time has been Titus Young, and he's been the only one okay, you need to keep him every chance you got. Let's see if we go to images and we can find something, right? I just know receivers are really good. I really do. I know everything that makes a good wide receiver. I guess it's because I do like over the hand catches and that. Even Metcalf. So the Lions might beat the Seahawks because uh, Metcalf, he might have a little bit of a slump. And if he has enough of a slump, the Lions could beat the Seahawks because it's crazy. Like I really like. I think that's the biggest problem when you draft a wide receiver is they only have so many years on them. There's only so many years they have, which is probably why the Jameson Williams thing is pretty frustrating for Lions fans. Very frustrating. Um, I mean, you even got like Western Michigan. Western Michigan always makes good receivers, and Patrick Mahomes, of course, getting a Western Michigan receiver. Um, Prescott on Lamb. Yeah, CD Lamb could even, that's the funny part. CD Lamb could be just like wasting the Dallas Cowboys time. He really could. Um, and oh my gosh, what I laughed most about Debo Samuel is he could be good, but you know who's tougher than Debo Samuel? The Lions receiver Amon St. Brown. Debo Samuel kind of just like gets injured, and then 49ers fans get really angry at that. I'm telling you, they get really angry at that. Uh, Receiver is one of the hardest topics in NFL. It's a pretty hard topic. Even like Mike Evans, like maybe Mike Evans and Titus Young have been like the grinders. But Mike Evans is he's kind of came down to his slowdown. Where's the and it's really hard because normally if a receiver is good like Titus Young, because that's the example. If they're good like Titus Young, crazy things happen. Like they won't stay on the team. Another example of that is Antonio Brown, dude. Antonio Brown couldn't even stay on an NFL team because he was like I don't know. I think it's because they're running so fast and they're so strong that their brain's thinking about different things. Like they're very strong athletes. They're fast, and they're like, I don't. They kind of almost have this "I want to get out of football" mentality. You know what I mean? Like I need to get out of football. Like they're like, I got money. I need to get out of football. They're all that. And if you want to know the requirement speeds, because it's crazy, receivers are now, yes, receivers are now running like 4 point. They have to run 4.32s. They have to run like they're a running back. So it's like a tall guy running like he's a running back. I really want to get into the depth of this. I already got into DJ Metcalf. We're going to try and type in, who would it be? Let's talk about Buffalo Bills because they just keep constantly talking about Buffalo Bills. Because there's their other receivers. Let's look at that. Their other receivers. Okay. ESPN depth chart. Like you can just type in Buffalo and ESPN will easily pull it up for you. Okay. This one right here trips me out. This guy specifically because of his last name and his first name. Interesting character. And some of these receivers probably wouldn't even be good if they didn't have such a good offensive line. The Buffalo Bills have a very, very good offensive line. Whether it will hold up this year, we'll have to see about that, though. See, are you serious right now? Like, come on, guys. Keyshawn Johnson, Keyshawn Johnson. It's basically like if Calvin Johnson had a good offensive line, if he had a decent offensive line. That was a funny aspect. Um, Ravens have Bateman, and that might make Ravens fans a little mad. Let's see. Because I mean, he could be just like that, but Raven fans should just be like us Lions fans, be like, because Jameson Williams possibly. I mean, we possibly got a problem with Jameson Williams, just because he just doesn't want to follow protocols. There's all kinds of receivers, guys. Let's type in like some advanced ones. Let's type in the Bengals receivers, okay? Because you gotta remember, these are the same guys that went after one of the fastest receivers. As a prospect, when I was looking at prospects, I was like, man, that guy's fast. He was like Javid Best fast. But where's T. Higgins is always a one that you want in fantasy, T. Higgins. There's Charlie Jones. Of course, but Jamar Chase is like kind of a no-brainer, right? Trent Taylor, that's an interesting one. Trent Taylor. I mean, think about good football players. You think about Devin Taylor from the Detroit Lions, right? Devin Taylor, very, very good player. Very good Detroit Lion player. So, I mean, Taylor, these good football players, they always have like Jones or Taylor, They always have like a last name of Jones or Taylor. Very competitive. And we even got Trayvon Williams, It's like we got Trayvon Williams as a running back, right? Am I seeing that right? Yeah, the running back stuff. By the way, Bengals make very good running backs. They make very, very, very good running backs. Look at that. Would you look at that? Look at that. We're not going to get into that, but like I'll show you again. Yeah, see that? Okay, so let's go to... Now, you can easily change your name, by the way, of your jersey. If you want to change your name, you have so much money, you can change your name to whatever you want, I think even in college you could change your name. I think there's a way to change your name. There's, what receiver is it? Kind of interested in the Colts aspect because they got rid of Pascal. Pascal was pretty decent, but like that's what I'm saying. You could have a good receiver, okay, but you're gonna have to give them up. You're gonna have to give them up at some time. Sometime you're gonna have to. You're gonna have to update yourself sometime. Okay, Pittman. Okay, that should be pretty clear to us. A Michael Pittman. That's a pretty interesting one, right? You gotta really watch the Colts too. Like they're always really close. They're closer than you think. Winfrey, Alec Pierce, Ashton Doolin. Vincent Smith is pretty cool, but like the Ashland Doolin, something about this Ashland Doolin I think is very, very interesting. Okay. Dude, I'm going to try and get them all. Heck yeah, why don't we just try and get most of them? Okay, there's, let's get the Eagles receiver, because this is a hard breakdown to do for the Eagles receivers. Very hard to break them down. You got to remember, okay, they had Jim Schwartz, all right? Jim Schwartz, just a ton of good receivers. Titus Young, Calvin Johnson, Brandon Pettigrew for tight end because he was a tight end, also a receiver kind of, scenario. Okay, so here's there's AJ Brown, right? That's typical though. AJ Brown is just typical. What if AJ Brown has a slump, guys? He could definitely have a slump. I mean, he's pretty chill right now. Do you think like he's really worried? Probably not. And crazy names like that. That guy, out of all the Eagles receivers, I'd probably pay attention to, right? When I'm facing the Eagles, I'd probably pay attention to this guy, just because who the heck has the name Olamide Zacchaeus? You know what I mean? Like, he's freaking Final Fantasy. Like, there's Greg Ward. Devontae Smith, of course, is the one I always want to talk about, too, because Devontae Smith. Devon Allen's a funny one, too, because his name's Devon. But, do they even have Britton, which is kind of funny? Britton Covey is a funny one. That's kind of like Brian from Quest 64 stuff. But where's the Devonta Smith? Ugh. It's very hard to find another Kevin Smith. I'll tell you what, guys. It really is. It's really hard to find somebody who's going to want to continuously just work hard. But, that's why people go after Smiths. They have they're like, with football knowledge, they're like, oh, maybe I can get somebody that's actually got to put work in. Let's go to and old habits work in the NFL, by the way, too. That's what's so shocking about the NFL. Old habits never go away. They just don't. I even like to look at like teams I'm not paying attention to sometimes, like let's look at the Commanders. Their roster was odd, dude. If you ever watched all the NFL rosters you could have broke down, this one, geez, guys, this one was crazy. This was a crazy depth roster. It was kind of like, what in the world? Terry McLaurin, he's all right. He's okay. See what I'm saying? He could have a slump too. Dimey Brown, it's all right. It's all right. They had a guy that looked similar to Amon St. Brown. They did. Dotson, I thought Dotson was very interesting just because he has the son. And we're always talking about Johnson, Calvin Johnson. But John, where's the is that Casimir Allen? There's Casimir Allen. There's Dax Mine. See, there's Dax Mine. Dax. Yep. That's who Cowboys fans need. They need some guy named Dax, not Dak Prescott. Are you kidding me? Dax. You'd rather have Daxter, not Jack. Where's the Man, there's a ton of receivers, dude. I'm telling you, there's so many receivers. It's like stupid. It's really stupid. Chargers, yeah, because we've heard nothing but the Chargers all off season. It's been nothing but Charger. Just because their quarterback, I will say he is not a bad quarterback. I will say that he's not a bad quarterback. The Chargers quarterback, he's not bad. Just they talk about him a lot. As far as the Kansas City Chiefs, that's why I would never worry about the Detroit Lions, because they're going to be facing the Chargers, and the Chargers are very, very desperate. Super desperate, guys. Keenan Allen could be slumping, right? He definitely could be slumping. I'm telling you, Keenan Allen is definitely one where I would predict, for even your fantasy league or whatever, I'd predict Keenan Allen to kind of slump a little. Just be careful with that one. Mike Williams, that's okay. Mike Williams is all right. Jalen Guten. And good receivers will get injured. So Jalen Guten is definitely worth a pay attention. Hightower. They just can't stay on the field, guys. That's the thing. They can't stay on the field. John Hightower. Some receivers, though, there is a rarity where you get some receivers that are just tough. But for the most part, your receiver is going to they are gonna break their ankle, dude. They're just gonna roll on their ankle. Man, this crap. Jaguars receivers. You know, the whole DJ Chark thing. Yep, there's Kirk. There he is. There's Kirk, guys. Jamal Agnew is like old though, you know, he's old right now. Can you believe he can be a receiver now? That's what happens when you get old. You go from being a running back to receiver. You improvise. Pryor, very good. You know, Pryor's a ideal football name. Kind of like one that they constantly look at. We all know that about the Calvin Ridley nonsense. I probably really wouldn't take any Falcons deals. Yeah, I would never take a Falcons deal. Never. Falcons, oh my gosh, they're a team that's waiting too, and they're a team that remember snuck into a Super Bowl, so they're just a little bit there, just a little bit. They snuck into a Super Bowl, guys, with like nothing. It was hilarious. And the Patriots were lucky, like completely lucky. Super lucky, you know. There's Taylor Heineke. See what I'm saying? Taylor Heineke. If they didn't have Taylor Heineke and Desmond Ridder, I have found Desmond Ridder a little interesting. But if they didn't have Taylor Heineke, these Atlanta Falcons, they did not have him, you know. I'm telling you, Falcons are very, very competitive. They're always a team you got to watch out for. They'll have the Falcons will have a few years where they're like meh, but then they'll gel. You know, they'll start to build a roster. Vrabel, we have to pay attention to Vrabel. Vrabel is just a football name. Their offensive line is pretty good. It's not as good as what people think it is, but it's good. Xavier. There's Xavier. Xavier Malone. Trey Davis, Mike Jones, Mike Hughes. See, and they put Mike Hughes on their team. You know what I'm saying? They've put Mike Hughes on their team. I cannot even with this. They put Mike Hughes. But that's kind of a bad move. But like not all their moves are bad. They're just trying to see if they can use everything for Mike Hughes. There's Kyle Pitts. There he is. Man, this stuff's insane intelligence. Insane. Oh yeah, they're using a fullback system. See, they're using a fullback system, which that also could be a clue that they might not do as good as they could be just hiding and doing good. But since they're doing a fullback system, it could be hard for them. Caradell Hodge is just a very good one too. That's the one you definitely need to pay attention to. Is this Caradell Hodge guy? He might he'll slump or he'll have a really, really good year. Like a really good year. That last name Hodge, it's just hilarious because if you know, there's a comic book. It's called Calvin and Hobbes and all that. It's just a very funny name. Yeah, and then look at this. I just want to do this because we did a really good NFL video today. See this guy right here? They're talking about Stefon Gilmore for the Cowboys fans, okay? And Trevon Diggs. Now, Trevon Diggs, I understand. Cowboys fans, it's been a long time since they've had somebody like that, right? Okay. But Stefon Gilmore, okay. So Stefon Gilmore, he gets injured. Stefon Gilmore, he's a pretty good player. Um, but he could be a slumper. Stefon Gilmore could be a slumper. He could be slumping. Because he's been kind of like it's like, when's the last time you've seen Stefon Gilmore? You haven't seen Stefon Gilmore. You like, if you've seen him on the field, he's kind of like he's a little bit of a bench warmer. He's a little bit of a bench warmer. Derrick Rose changed his way though. He did. Rose, the basketball player, he did change a little bit, but not too much. Trevon Diggs, though. Okay, so Trevon Diggs. Let's talk about him. We'll end on like kind of this competitive talk and all this. So you can have a solid defender. Your defender can be doing his thing. He can finally be learning the system. Okay, and this is what's concerning me about Tracy Walker for the Detroit Lions. Yes, you could have very good years. You could have good years. You could be doing everything you need to be doing. But it doesn't necessarily overall mean that you are the truth, It doesn't mean you are Glover Quinn, okay? It doesn't mean you're able to keep going and going and going and going. That's why Glover Quinn talks about he wishes he didn't retire. Stefon Gilmore, okay? Stefon Gilmore and Trevon Diggs topics. Both of them, right? Both of them, very, very questionable. Just very questionable. Gilmore, I don't even know what Gilmore, just because Gilmore has that last name, though, that's the reason why people pay attention to, because he has the GIL. So as long as he has the GIL, they're